Yes, I help nice people sell more, but what does that mean and how does it work? This is the Sales for Nice People podcast, where ethical entrepreneurs learn how to sell more because of your values and not despite them. I am Martin Steller. I help nice people sell more. And a few days ago, talking to a friend, I realized I don't actually do a very good job at explaining how my work works. So let's clear that up today. At the very core of all the work that I do is asking questions, because the better the quality of questions that you ask, the better the answers are going to get, and the easier it is going to be to make things move forward. And that applies to your sales conversations as well. So in a lot of situations, a seller might think, how do I stop getting ghosted? Or what do I need to say so that my buyer will want to buy? Or what is the best price to put on this program? Now, those are useful questions, but they're not all that good. There are questions about the psychology, the needs, the wants, and the concerns of the buyer that are going to be far more effective and far more useful than asking standard mechanical, technical questions. How do I stop getting ghosted? Well, who cares, really? Because it's not about how to stop getting ghosted. It's about how to make your buyer interactions something your buyer will always want more from. That's how you avoid getting ghosted in the first place. The difference in question between how do I stop getting ghosted and how do I make my buyer want to spend more time with me is a fundamental difference. And so when I work with people, when I coach individuals, entrepreneurs, founders, owners on their sales, everything centers around asking better questions. So in a very practical sense, we sit down, we meet on Zoom or in person, and we look at your deals one by one, and we ask what needs to happen for this deal to move forward. And from that seminal question, all kinds of other questions show up. What does your buyer stand to gain on a personal level if they decide to buy from you? What is the buy blocker in place? What potential perceived problem could your buyer be struggling with on a subconscious level that is preventing them from moving forward? What is a question that will make them understand that you really get them? These are all very important, fundamental psychological questions related to the relationship and the communication that you have with your buyer. And once you start asking yourself these questions of your buyer, or you let me help you ask those questions of your own intel so that you can then go and ask them of your buyer, you'll find that the entire sales process not only becomes a lot easier, it also becomes a lot more fun. Because in asking your buyer specific, pointy questions that create clarity, you are rendering an act of service. You are making their life better before you've even sold anything. This is why Sales for Nice People is built on the principle that you make your sales process an act of service. So that, in a short nutshell, is how I work. I ask you questions, usually annoying questions, pointy questions, but always questions that bring out intel and insight on what needs to happen for a deal to move forward. Because you have a lot more intel and knowledge about your buyers than you think. And once you start asking the right question, that knowledge comes up, that informs you on how to communicate and query your buyer, and that then automatically makes the deal move forward. If you're curious what that would look like in practice, if you want to experience sales coaching from somebody who's a complete nerd about psychology and buyer motivations, feel free to click the link below. You can get yourself a 60-minute breakthrough session. It's $295. There's no further commitment, but you will find it very, very useful to take a different approach to your deals, to put a lens on the opportunities and the people in your pipeline. And you will find that you have far more influence and sway over how a sales process works once you start asking better questions. So link is down below, and I will see you tomorrow.